Hello everyone, I am Ton Chauhan and you are watching The Technical Fist, and in this video tutorial we will solve the exercise questions of while loop that I gave you in the previous video. So before we begin, first let me know if you guys are able to listen to me properly. This is really important for us. Alright, good, that's good. Now let's begin this video tutorial. Our first question was, write a program to print all odd numbers between 1 to 100. In our previous video, I already showed you how you can print the even numbers from 1 to 100. So this is going to be really quick. So all we need to do is we need to take a count variable, which will basically count the loop. And then we will say I have a while loop, which will run from 0 to 100, or yeah, greater than equals to. Okay, and let's make it 1. So now it will run from 1 to 100 and we need to print the odd numbers. So we have to write a condition which will say like if count module 2 is not equals to 0. Okay, so this will tell you that count modulus 2 is not equals to 0. That means the remainder is not 0, and if you divide anything by 2, you will either get a remainder of 0 or 1. So that means it will be 1, which also means this will be an odd number. So we need to print this odd number of count. Okay, whoops, yeah. Okay, now one thing to make sure is to increase the value of count, otherwise you will end up getting stuck in an infinite loop, which is really dangerous for your device's performance and your application performance. Okay, so if user ends up getting stuck in an infinite loop, which something looks like this, wait up, okay, count is alright, sorry, count modulus 2 is not equals to 0, print this. Yeah, sorry, because count's initial value is 1, that's why it is not printed out. Let me increase the count value and then I will show you this. Why is that so? Count is 1, count greater than equals to 100. If count is modulus 2, alright, that is fine. Let me check, let me debug this for once. Test. What is happening over here? While count is less than equals to, alright, I'm really sorry, there was one mistake that I did in the condition. It should be less than equals to, because initially count is less than 100 and the condition said like greater than equals to, so that was didn't execute it. Now if I run this, you will be able to see all the odd numbers. And the thing that I was telling you before about the infinite loop is if you do not increment the value, you will see the same value printed out constantly. So this is the infinite loop, which is really dangerous for your software's performance. So always make sure you don't get stuck in an infinite loop. So if you run it like this, you will see all the odd numbers of the from 0 to 1 or 0 to 100. Okay, so let's comment this and move on to the next question, which is write a program to print multiplication table of any number. So we need to print the multiplication table. For that, we're going to ask the multiplication number from the user. So I'm going to say like number is equals to eval input, enter a number. Okay, so now user enters a number and we will print the multiplication table of that. So I'm going to say like we have a count variable, which is say 1, and in while loop we will say count should be less than equals to 10. So it will go through 1 to 10. Now after that we have to print the multiplication table. So we're going to say like print I'm going to print the num multiply by just making it look good on the console. Okay, so multiplied by count, whoops, sorry, count, and then which is equals to, it's just formatting, the real thing will happen now. Okay, so we're gonna multiply number with the count. Okay, and count will go from 0 to 10, and that's how you will print the multiplication table. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. So we need to enter a number. Suppose I want to print the multiplication table of 2. We will see, okay, sorry, for the infinite loop, as I told you before, we forgot to increase the value of count. So we're going to increase the value, and now when you will see 2, and here is the multiplication table. So 2 by 1 is 2, and then 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So this is the multiplication table that we gave you in the previous video. Now move on to the next question, which was the final question, and this question might give you the hard time to solve. You might not be able to solve this question because this is a really tricky question, I should say. So what this question is saying is, we need to write a program which will find the sum of the first n digits. So that means if I input 10, it should add like 1 plus 2 and whatever the output is plus 3, then again the output plus 4, and so on and so forth. So it should add all of the numbers and then give you the sum of all numbers through n. So we're going to take n from the user. So I'm going to say n is equals to eval input and the enter a number. Okay, there are two ways of solving this question. I'm going to show you both of them. First one is the easy way, second one is the tricky way. Okay, so let's go to the easy way. All right, so in easy way we will use 3 variables. So right now we have this variable which is n, that is inputted by the user, and then the count. So we're going to take count as 1 because we need to add from 1. You can also use 0, but that will be meaningless. So now we need the sum of n numbers. Okay, so this is also a number whose initial value is 0. So from 0 we will add all the numbers. Now we will need to run the while loop, which will say like while count is greater than, or count is less than or equals to the n, which is the input from the user. So while this is the situation, like count is less than equals to n, we need to add everything like that. Okay, so we're gonna say like sum of n numbers plus equals to, that means we are adding anything that is written after this into the sum. So sum plus equals to count, and then we need to increase the count by 1. Okay, so what will happen over here is, just look at it carefully. Okay, so what will happen, sum is initially 0. Suppose I input 5 in n. So what will happen, while 1 is less than equals to n, as initial value of count is 1. So 1 is less than equals to n. This is true. It will come down and say like sum, which is 0, plus the count, which is 1. So now sum's value is 1. Okay, and then we will increase count by 1, which will be 2. So 2 less than equals to 5, and then it will come down and it will say like sum, which is now 1 plus 2, and then it will become 3. So sum value is 3 now, and then count will get increased. And similarly like this, it will go through 5 and it will add all of those numbers inside this sum. And when you will print this, you will see the sum of all numbers. Okay, so I'm going to print the sum of n numbers, and let's run this, and let me enter the number like 5, and you can see 15. How it becomes 15? It becomes like 1 plus 2 is 3, and then 3 plus 3 6, and then 6 plus 4 10, and then 4 plus 5 15. So that's how it becomes 15. Okay, so this program will give you the sum. There is one more approach, which is the tricky approach, and this approach do not use 3 variables. It only uses, if you are going to an interview and the interview give you some question like this which is tricky, you can basically perform these tricky solutions and then impress them to help you land a job. So what you can do over here is, instead of using 3 variables, you can use just 2 variables. Okay, so what we will do is we will do the reverse of what we did just now. So listen here. Okay, so we have n and we have sum of n numbers. Okay, we are not taking the count. Now sum of 1 numbers initial value is 1. For now it should be 1, and I'm going to say like while n is greater than equals to 0. Okay, or just greater than 0, which will go through 1. Okay, so now basically instead of count we are using the input itself. Okay, and what we are going to do is we're going to say like, okay, sum is let's take sum as 0 initially, and I'm going to say like sum of n number plus equals to the n. Okay, so initially sum is 0, the n value is the exact value that user inputted, and it will go inside the sum, and then so on and so forth. And now we're gonna reduce the value of n, so n minus equals to 1. Okay, so reduce this by 1, and now you need to print it out. Print sum of this in the description within a minutes. So stay tuned and you can check back later the solutions. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a good day.